I'm here to give you a framework that keeps the sales conversation flowing. Hi, I'm Melody, and I'm here to have sales Rainmaker conversations with you. Today, we're going to talk about the part of sales that nobody can automate, the human interactions. This is what gets everyone connecting the minute they land in your Zoom room instead of running away. Because what most salespeople do in that finite, short little window is pitch. It's exactly the wrong thing, and it scares away even the prospects who need your product or service the most. When you launch right into who you are or what your company does, all the awards that you've won, all the case studies that you have, the prospect is mentally checking out. So today I'm going to give you a framework called the 6W1H. It is the foundation of every great discovery call I've ever had, over $2 billion in career sales and 25 years of experience. 6W1H stands for who, what, where, when, why, what's the source, and how. These are all the beginning words for open-ended questions. Before you present anything to anyone, you need the full story about them, because what keeps people engaged is when they talk about themselves and you exhibit sincere curiosity to listen and hear who they are. Use these words to inquire. We're going to go a little deeper with each one, and I'm going to give you examples of how to use each of these words. You want to keep it on a professional level, getting deep, but not too deep to where it would make anyone uncomfortable. A few sample questions include things like wanting to know and uncover what their day-to-day life looks like in their job. What do they struggle with the most? What are they here hoping that you will help them with? So let's get into that. Instead of throwing sales features at them and hoping that something sticks, you're genuinely trying to understand what they need and what they care about the most. That means you're having a real sales conversation and building a real sales relationship. It's not a perfect pitch. It's not the words off the page that mean the most. It's how you connect with people on a one-to-one level. So the first word we're going to get into is who. I know what you're thinking. You know who they are. You've looked them up on LinkedIn. You've looked them up online. You've read a little bit about their company. You've got their title. But that's not the who I'm talking about. The who is really understanding a little bit about the person behind the title from a professional aspect. What is their background? What's their story? Why are they sitting in front of you today? Or who do you collaborate mostly with when you're making decisions about this type of solution? Here's a question that might actually surprise someone and give them a great opportunity to share deeper with you. What leaders in the community influenced you the most to be accomplishing what you're here to accomplish in your role today? That last one will really get some people talking about what they're most passionate about. And people love it because it gives them a chance to tell you about someone that they admire. My personal favorite is, what does your day-to-day look like right now? Simple, open-ended, and wildly underused and underrated. Because when someone starts describing their day, it tells you exactly where they feel that they are stretched thin. And they'll probably reveal exactly where the friction is. What are they managing that nobody else sees that is frustrating them? What part would they happily hand off to someone else or even automate with something that you bring to the table? What does success look like for you in your role? What parts of your role do you find most energizing? What gets you going in the morning when you want to come to your job, and what stops you and shuts that energizing feeling down? And most importantly, and I like to sort of end with this one before we begin a presentation, what are you hoping to experience and accomplish today with me? Where questions help you understand the context, the goals, and the decisions. Where are they headed? Where does this need to be 3 years from now? That could lead into, it needs to be something I can renew and worth the budget. If you can help someone achieve a 3-year goal today in your conversation, now you have something forward moving to speak to. Where in your organization does this challenge affect you the most? Where do things tend to get stuck in your current process? All good questions. When questions are about urgency and timing. I see so many salespeople skip this entirely and then wonder why the deal went away. It's because if you don't understand the prospect's clock, you don't have a timeline to follow. When did this start becoming a priority for you? When you think about solving this, what does your ideal timeline look like? When is your budget going to align with solving this challenge? When do you typically revisit with decisions like this? And when will you be meeting with other decision makers to talk about it? When is the budget cycle driving the solution? This question and making sure that you ask it tells you if you're in the right window of time or if you have to punt the ball and when to punt it down the road. Why? Why tells you the motivation behind everything. Why is this a priority right now? Why did you take my call today? This is a very powerful one I love to use. Why is this something that you're exploring today with me? Here's another one I like to ask. What would happen if this didn't get solved within the next 6 months, the next quarter, and refer to whatever timeline that they brought to your attention earlier in the conversation? All of this should happen before any demonstration, any presentation, any slide deck moves off the first slide. We start this whole conversation on your landing page slide. It's the first slide in your deck and the one where they just simply see your information and you're here to give a total meet and greet, ask these questions, give time and space for everyone to arrive, and really just connect with people. The next section is what's the source? This is the one that really surprises people. The source? Why would you add those two words? What you're asking is what's shaping their thinking. Where did this land on their radar? When you're asking what's the source, you're asking what is driving their decision. Think about it. If something's wrong, you want to get to the root cause. Ways to ask about the source are, what's driving this for you? Is this coming as a directive from you? From a new law? A new rule? Is it coming from someone above you that you report to? Or is this something that you're championing on your own, and why? So this is all about finding out and getting to the bottom of things. And finally, how? How are you hoping your life is going to change after our meeting today? How long have you been in this role? How have you approached this kind of challenge in the past? And how did that work out? Was it better? Why are you looking for a solution? And tying all of that together. I know it sounds simple, but these questions tell you so much about the person and what they're seeking to do within the context of what you're selling. When you ask how long someone's been in the role that they're playing today in this total job position, you're finding out, are they new and they're trying to improve things and prove themselves, or have they been there a long time and have institutional knowledge? This really helps when you're having the conversation going forward. And you know when someone is new versus institutionalized, you're going to work with them in slightly different ways. And one of the most important ones, how will you know if this is the right fit for you? So this is, again, another future question. Now, one thing I want you to notice is this is not a precise script or a roadmap. I just walked you through 7 different types of questions that you can ask. At no point did I say that these were to be asked in order or that you needed to hit every single one. Make it more of like a checklist that gives you ideas that you can put out in front of you. I like to use 4x6 note cards that I have on my desk. It's not a finite checklist. It's more like a roadmap that keeps you going in the direction that you need to go in to get to know people better. You can carry the 6W1H into any conversation as a framework to learn something about them to kick off any presentation or meeting. And when your conversation is at a lull, reach into your roadmap or checklist of questions to ask. The main goal here is to keep them talking about themselves and keep engaging. Use your mirror neurons. I have other presentations about that. Mirror neurons are when you speak using someone else's words and mirror just a word or two so that their brain recognizes that you're listening to them, which helps them to feel heard and thus helps them to know that you guys are connecting. And that is the whole point of a discovery. The best discovery session feels like a first cup of coffee with a good friend on a chilly day. A good connection feels like you're really rooting for them and they appreciate that. Your questions should be the priority above and beyond pitching or selling anything. Here's my challenge for every salesperson this week. Pick 3 questions and make sure that you ask them before you present anything in your next 3 to 5 meetings. Then add 3 new questions next week too. Make notes of what you learn about your prospective clients. I guarantee you're going to walk away with something that you didn't have before. Something that changes your position on your solution and changes how you even talk about the product or service that you're selling today. Because salespeople who are closers, they don't pitch. They don't have to. They just connect. That's what I did, and that's what I'm here to help you experience today. It changes the entire direction of the deal. Because salespeople that close consistently don't pitch better. They listen better. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe, hit like, share it with a friend. My content is about the human interaction or HI side of sales. HI is something AI can't replace. If you want to go deeper, I'll see you on melody-mcdonald.com. Thanks for spending that time with me today. Like, follow, and subscribe for more.